Hello, people of the internet, of YouTube. What is going on? Let me open up YouTube on a separate page so I can see who's on right now. All right, real quick. So, how's everybody doing? It is a late Tuesday. It is 9 p.m. Eastern time. I apologize. That's okay though. No worries. I'm sure most of you are probably anxious to watch me anyway because I'm cool, I'm special. You guys love me. All right. So today is awesome because today's another interview. I if you tuned in last week, I had another interview of my very good friend, and it was pretty funny. It was fun. I'm not gonna lie. But this is another interview of a really good friend of mine. She she's great, and we met up at the protest last year at the White House protest. If you guys are familiar with that, she shared her story there. She also has a YouTube channel. I'm actually going to showcase her channel, but before I do, I would like to see who's on right now and say hi to you guys. Let's see here. All right. What's up, Southern? What is that? Southern Boz Lady? Boz A? What's up? Thank you for joining. All right. So I'm going to showcase her channel right here. Her name is Malia, and she's not fairly new um in YouTube on YouTube. Um she has been she's got 24 videos, and it says here she joined in on October 22nd, 2014. Now, I it's funny because I remember watching uh one of her videos a long time ago, and I ended up seeing her at the protest, and she was talking to me, and I'm just talking to her, and she's telling me that she does YouTube and she has her story out there, and I'm just like, I'm not even putting two and two together. Like, I know I've seen her videos before. I did the same thing with Stephen Lett's niece, and that was embarrassing because I'm here talking to Stephen Lett's niece this whole time, and she's telling me about her story and her brother, and I'm just like going along with it. I'm like, but I have seen her videos, and I'm just dumb like that. I'm slow. I forget things sometimes. But this is Malia. She shares her story on YouTube. If you guys are interested after this interview, her channel is called Overcoming Religious Trauma. It's pretty good. She's not shy on the camera, so that's a good thing. Or maybe she is. We'll see. I'm gonna throw her on here. She's backstage. Let's throw her on here. She's laughing already. She's smiling. All right, here we go. There you go. Hi. What is
Hi,
up?
how's it going?
Yeah. Oh, my best friend's on here. He says hola. All right. Let me take this off of here. Okay, so now it's just me and you. So Malia, I'm gonna do the same thing I did with my best friend. This isn't scripted, right?
Right.
This is not wow, this is not scripted. I like the fireplace in the back.
Thank you. It's cozy.
Yeah, so so basically what we do, or what I like to do on every interview, is obviously talk about your history. And I'm gonna continue doing that. So how about you let everybody know your history, and were you born and raised as a Jehovah's Witness, or you just brought in?
So I was born and raised as a Jehovah's Witness in Oregon. I got baptized the day after my 12th birthday, so I was barely 12. Um, see, to kind of sum it up, not go into too much detail, I went through a lot of sexual abuse as a young kid. And I told my parents every time they went to the elders said that there was no proof, no second witness. So they would talk,
Mm.
they said they would talk to the person, and they denied it, of course. This happened 3 different times. And I was kind of told that I needed to stop talking about it. because there was no
Of
proof,
course.
and that they didn't believe me and I was a liar. And so I kind of got like at only 14 years old when it happened the second time.
14. Wow.
The first time, yeah, I was 11, and then I was 14, and um, pretty much all the kids stopped hanging out with me because they thought I was making stuff up. So I lost all my friends at 14.
Mm.
And then I was sexually assaulted by my brother-in-law, who was not a Jehovah's Witness, when I was 16. And because nobody went to the police the other times before, I was very scared to talk about it and be blamed for it. And I did blame myself anyways. So eventually I ended up telling friends and it came out, and I was disfellowshipped for it.
Mm.
So I completely took the discipline and thought that I was this bad person and I needed this discipline. And I prayed to Jehovah and wrote all these letters and never got reinstated. I mean, I did get reinstated, but not for a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't really a long time when you think about disfellowshipping, because it's normally a year. It was only actually 7 months. But when no one's speaking to you and you've been molested and you have no friends, that's a very long time. It felt like a lot longer than 7 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry to cut you off. Yeah, that's weird if you think about that. How disfellowship there has to be a certain amount of time for you to be reinstated,
Hmm.
where that indicates there's no Holy Spirit already right there. That's like the
Yeah.
Holy Spirit is not a timekeeper, as I used to say in my videos all the time. I don't know if that's like normal worldwide,
Mhm.
the minimum 6 months to a year. Where are you located? On the East Coast? Like, are you? No,
I'm
you
in
said
Colorado.
you're in Colorado, right? So
Yeah.
I don't know why I said East Coast. I'm retarded. So, so I'm assuming, yeah, that's pretty normal because 6 months to a year. I guess that's universal. I
Yeah.
thought that was just based off of where you're at,
Right.
but I
Well,
guess
my dad did feel like it was unfair, even though they didn't go to the police. They tried to do it Jehovah's way,
yeah.
not to give a bad name to Jehovah. So my dad was pretty upset that he didn't think I should have been disfellowshipped, but they didn't really do anything about it.
Mhm.
So he was like, "You're writing a letter in 3 months. Write a letter. Write a letter." My
Yeah.
letter was literally tearing myself apart.
Yeah.
Like, if I could go back and read that letter, oh my gosh, it'd break my heart, because I hated myself. And I wrote 4 letters before they reinstated me, and they would rip those letters out of my hands. It's just, all that stuff kind of, when I had children, um, that stuff hit me differently when I had kids.
Mm.
I was like, how could parents not protect their children? And I went to therapy, and that was kind of when things started
That's good.
making sense that it was wrong. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it's good for you to seek therapy. We all need some type of therapy in our life,
Yeah,
especially coming from this religion.
for
Like,
sure.
I needed therapy.
Yeah.
And you're not, and I used to tell, I actually had a conversation with someone last night who reached out to me, a subscriber. I have my number on my channel for anybody that wants to reach out. Just shoot me a text or whatever. And he was down and depressed and crying. And he himself has told me that he had to undergo therapy because of the things that he went through. And I told him what was told to me, and I'll tell to you and everyone who's watching that you're not the first and you're never the last. And it's very crucial for someone to understand that, because when you are sexually assaulted, you're physically assaulted, you tend to think you're the only one that's going through this in the entire world,
Yeah.
and that drives you crazy. You feel like you're either being picked on,
Mhm.
and that's more or less why people take their life, right? They feel like they can't go on any longer,
Yeah.
and that depression, that stress, it just overwhelms them. And
Absolutely.
it's good to know that there are other people that are like that you can speak to. And it's very important that once someone leaves, to seek communities, to join communities like there are communities on Facebook that you can join, there are people on
Yeah.
Discord that you can join, and just to release and talk about your issues and all the problems that you went through, and share them
Church.
with them.
To be honest, I didn't even share my story on YouTube because I wanted people to, be able to relate or have people that understood. I didn't know that was going to happen. What I actually did was I tried to talk to my parents after I left the religion and explain to them all of the things that I've had found out about, the governing body protecting pedophiles and just all kinds of stuff. And I was like, I just felt like there was tape over my mouth. Like nobody would
Mm,
listen to me, no family. And I was like, I just wanted to scream from the rooftops. Like I just needed to get it out. And I felt like I had no voice. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to record this for me so that I feel like it's out there. And maybe my family will see it. Maybe they won't, but I'll feel better. And
mm,
that is when I had all these people reach out to me being like, this happened to me. This happened to me too. And I was like, wow, like I really
yeah.
did. They would tell me, it's imperfect, man. This doesn't happen all the time. It's just your case, and you feel really alone and like, why me?
Yeah. It's that whole imperfect, that word imperfect used in the organization is so annoying because I've
Yeah,
had,
because other religions can't be imperfect, but we can.
right, exactly. It's the same thing when people, when they,
They they
yeah,
can.
yeah, it's the same thing when they say they're the only true religion. Yeah. I'm sure if you're born somewhere like in Asia or something, you would think that the religion out there is the truth.
For sure.
You would think Buddhism was the truth, and
Yeah,
if you're in Islam, you would think being Muslim is the truth or whatever. So for them to say it's the truth, it's like it's so it's
ridiculous.
just it's ridiculous.
Yeah,
And but we don't want to just relive all of the bad
yeah,
in this interview. So I'd figure
right,
I'd ask you,
yeah.
what were some positive experiences that you had while you were part of the organization?
Oh, part of the organization. I mean, before all of the abuse happened, I felt like I had a great life. I felt
Mm,
like, I mean, there was 40 kids in my congregation under the age of 18, and
mhm,
we played sports every weekend. And I was the tomboy. I'm from a family of 6 girls, and
mm.
I was the one that played sports with my dad. So I would do basketball, football, all the things. And in the winter, we'd go skating, bowling, and I stayed really busy with people. Um, and, when all that happened in my congregation, I made friends in another congregation. So, there were a lot of good memories and good times. And then there was one time, like all the witnesses, there was like over 100 of them, rode their bikes to the beach, which was like, it's a 45-minute drive. So it was like an all day thing.
Hmm.
But it was a blast. Like there's a lot of good memories.
I can't say the same because it's only like there's only 2 months of heat out here. And it's just always snowing. It's always cold. But within those 2 months, I could relate because I did play sports as well. That was kind of like the big thing for us witnesses.
Yeah,
E-
because you couldn't do
ev-
it in school.
yeah, like, oh yeah, that was another thing being homeschooled. That was like I was and everybody and their mother was homeschooled at the same time.
Yep.
I've even heard people on YouTube, XJWs, who talk about their past and how they were homeschooled. And I think Ruby was one of them. I think she was just talked about it, and it's like the only thing you could do. I mean, it was meeting after meeting, study after study, and then one Saturday hit. We're like, yes, okay, finally we got a little break. Let's go and play some softball. um,
Right.
and that was my thing. I was a pitcher. I was I'm not gonna show off. I don't want to show off, but I guess I will. But I was a pretty good softball pitcher.
Which is
um,
saying a lot when you've only been raised playing as a Jehovah's Witness.
yeah, could you imagine like all of the people that are Jehovah's Witnesses who have potential, and because
Yeah.
they're in the organization, they could have been something else. They could have. I was talking to somebody about how I'm a Yankees fan,
Mhm.
sadly, and you have no idea. Like there are players that we played with in the organization that were amazing. They were beasts. And I even had this one friend who went to school and tried out for the baseball team. Obviously, he had to get kicked out and taken out because he's in the organization. But when I think of people like him and people worldwide who are like him, who could have been something,
Mhm.
I think about how different the Yankees could have been. Maybe they would have won more championships if there were more people who were like, like I think
True,
about that sometimes. Like the world changes completely just
for
because of
sure.
this organization.
Well, and all of the women that spent their whole lives, pioneering. I pioneered for a little bit, not much, but I have so many friends and family that have left that have are just so resentful of all of the time that they wasted pioneering when they could have been going to college and really like pursuing a career.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel that way too. I was a stay-at-home mom, but I'm like, where would I be if I would have went to college?
Yeah. That's true. There's a lot of what ifs. I go through a lot of those. And I had to go to therapy for that too, to like let that go,
Yeah,
because the more you hold on to that, it's like you'll tear yourself apart.
for sure. And I do feel I am where I am because of what happened, and I can help people because of what happened. So I try not to view it as a negative.
Hmm. And what I mean, other than the bad stuff that happened,
Mhm.
were there any like challenges that you had to face? I mean, other than, I mean, your parents, right? And I think you spoke a lot about your sister,
Yeah.
your manipulative sister. You were
Yeah.
saying, um, how is that now? Like, how is your sister, your family? Are obviously you don't keep in contact with them, right? Or no,
No.
right? Yeah.
No, and at first it was really my sister aside, because I actually cut her off like 10 years before I ever left the organization,
Hmm.
um, because of that whole situation. But the rest of my family, after I left, it was devastating. I definitely had days where I didn't know if I could get out of bed, and
Hmm.
I was just so depressed and hurt and broken. Um,
Right.
And yeah, my parents, I actually went out to Oregon and tried to see them face to face because they blocked me. My mom told me I was the same as Satan in a text message. And that was the
Yeah.
last text message. So I was like, I'm not leaving our relationship like this. And I tried to be loving and go out there and hug them and make them feel something. And my mom ended up slamming the door in my face, when I was trying to tell her about the Australian Royal Commission.
Yeah.
And yeah, and that was the last time we spoke. I mean, until my younger sister recently left, and she has a lot of mental illness and health problems. And my parents told her, if she dies, don't call them.
Wow.
And that really actually stirred up a lot of stuff for me when she came. I flew her out here, had her come stay with me, and that brought up a lot of stuff. And I ended up having to call my mom while she was with me.
Hmm.
We were trying to find out what medication she's on because she doesn't remember stuff. And my mom knew all of that. And my mom was like, I just got done with service. I have people over. Hung up. Wouldn't even help her. And it's just mind blowing. But those things also, what I was going to get to is, in the beginning, it was really painful and hurtful, and I wanted my family so bad. And now I'm like, wow, they are so toxic and honestly dangerous. The way
Yeah.
that they treat you, and it's harmful. It's dangerous. It's harmful. It's abusive. And so now I'm like, I don't allow that in my life. I don't have room for any of that. And so I'm super picky about what I allow. And
Yeah.
honestly, I became my own best friend. And I think that is like a huge thing to go through when you leave because you feel so lonely that you have to be there for yourself.
Self care 24/7.
Yeah,
It's very, very important. And if you're lucky enough to have a partner who leaves as well, that's a benefit. It's a plus.
for sure.
Um, my wife was someone that didn't believe at first what I believed in,
Mhm.
and that was a struggle. But
Mhm.
eventually it all comes together, and now she's when I can't help myself, she's there to help me,
That's
which
awesome.
is amazing. And my parents as well. My mom, um, she will talk to me every now and then, but it has to do with my son whenever I need her to babysit. My sister was the one that told me. She literally gave me a hug and said, "I'm hugging you because this is my last goodbye." Like, okay, but I still, I'm okay. I don't recommend this, you guys. If when you start, no, that's okay. There
Bane, you got to be quiet.
you go.
Sorry,
That's okay. That's okay. Go ahead.
kids.
If you need to go and do that, I'll
I think his
rant.
sister got it.
Okay, okay. So Um, yeah, I don't recommend this, but if you are an XJW or someone who they like to consider an apostate, don't be annoying because I'm annoying. I will blow my sister's phone up any chance that I get. I do not care. And the reason why I do it is because at least she won't respond, but she'll read them.
Mhm.
That's all that I care about. I mean, sure, we all care that they end up on our side and they listen and they at least try to conversate. But at least you know that Bible scripture, you plant your seed and then God lets it grow. Like I believe in that. So
Yeah.
at least if I do that, that'll get her thinking. Because when I when I woke up, it was because of that. Because someone was annoying as hell, sending me messages about the CSA cases,
Oh,
and
really?
I just kept ignoring him. And I'm just like, I said this in one of my videos. I know I'm annoying for saying this if you guys already heard me say it, but he was telling me, look, these CSA cases, you have to open up your eyes, blah blah blah. And I said, look, you gotta stop. You have to stop sending me these messages because we got to think about it this way: when you go to a restaurant and the waitress brings your meal and the meal comes out bad, who do you blame? I'm telling him this. Who do you blame? Do you blame the chef, the restaurant, or do you blame the waitress? And he says, well, I blame the restaurant. And I'm like, why blame the restaurant? Why not blame the chef? He's the one that cooked it. And then the reason why I said that is because I see the restaurant as the organization. Why blame the people in it?
Mhm.
That was my thinking then. And then
Yep.
I had to rethink and I'm like, no, wait a minute. If the organization is allowing these people to have these CSA cases and hiding them, then yeah, it's the organization's fault.
Yeah.
And that's what woke me up. And that's when I started thinking. Obviously, the Holy Spirit, my issues with the Holy Spirit played a part too. But
Mm.
I guess that's what I wanted to ask you. Other than the issues that you had, what was it like doctrinal wise? Was there something that like made you like, whoa, like this is like not adding up?
Yeah, so the first time was when they did the overlapping generation of 1914.
Hmm.
When they gave that talk in 2014, it had been 100 years, and they were like, "What does it mean? What does it mean?" They're like, "It means nothing." And they're like, "But," then they went into the overlapping generation, and I remember the article, and I was looking for scriptures, like, what are they using to back this up with? Like, it just
Right.
didn't make sense. And so after the meeting, everybody was like, "Oh, new light, new light, new light," and I was like, I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced. And I'm like, this doesn't seem right. It just didn't. And then I was like, what's wrong with me? I'm the problem. Like,
Hmm.
I started doubting myself, but it wasn't that. And then on top of that, it was just a lot of hypocrisy. And then you see, they'll disfellowship some people, but not others. And they'll chase after some people and not others. And they pick on people. And I was just like, it just stopped making sense. And then um, the whole process of leaving and meeting with the elders was a big eye opener because they brought up my past and said that I had a history of, being sexually
I remember that you were saying that.
abused. Yeah. Um,
That's ridiculous.
and I was like, are you serious? That was abuse. Like, um,
They were the ones being abusive too, like for
yeah, and that
bringing that
that
up.
meeting was what woke me up, and I was like, "Oh, I'm done. I'm really done. I'm not doing this anymore."
Yeah. Wow. It's they're they're trying to help you, but they're just making things worse.
Yeah.
And that was my biggest pet peeve. Like back in my first marriage, like when we needed help spiritually, they were never there.
Yeah.
Like it's I year after year. But the minute we screw up,
Mhm.
they're right there. They're like
Exactly.
right there. Like it was so annoying. Like my wife at the time, just like that helped her wake up because she's like, "This is annoying. Like they're not. This isn't the true religion." And I'm just like, this. They're so. And I remember the CO. We had a CO visit around um, that time that I had to say something, and it was perfect timing. And he put them in their spot. I ended up becoming a ministerial servant, and then I ended up doing shepherding calls myself, and I took
Oh,
the
wow.
lead on that. And I'm
Yeah.
the ministerial servant; they're the elders slacking, and
Mm.
I'm showing up and doing shepherding calls. We even had a sister who was dying, and I would, make soup for her, visit her and stuff. Others never visited her, even after
Mm,
I kept harassing them to visit her. They didn't
mhm.
do a single thing. She ended up passing away, and then one of the elders that I had spoken to, conducted the funeral service and just talked about her like if he knew her. Like it was just so
Ugh, yeah,
hypocritical. Like it was
yeah.
so annoying. I'm the one who should have given that talk.
Right, right.
But
It's sad.
it is. It's annoying. It's very sad. And these are the things that you on the outside won't recognize. Like
Mhm.
you won't know about. Um but anyway, moving on. So you you left the organization.
Mhm.
You had kids. And how many kids you have?
3.
You have three. Boys, girls.
A girl, she's 16, and then a boy 15 and a boy 9.
Awesome, awesome.
Yeah.
So you're obviously breaking the cycle from going back to the organization. How is it now, like with your life as a worldly person? How does it feel?
It's great and it's hard, I was married for 15 years and, their dad was my best friend. We
Hmm,
were not compatible spiritually. Like it's funny because I was always like all in or all out, And so he was like he believed it, but he didn't like going to meetings and he chewed tobacco and I was like straight and narrow, straight and narrow, like you got to stop chewing and you got to like be at the meetings and you got to help me and
yeah.
it was really really hard on our marriage and I wonder like what it would have been like if things were different because we really did have a good relationship. Um in a lot of ways, but
Hmm,
yeah, I left that marriage at the same time I left the religion. And so it was like really starting over. And I just did not know who I was. Like my identity had been stripped away. I didn't know what I believed in. I didn't know what I liked,
yeah.
because like they tell you you like service and you like meetings and you like, giving talks. Like even though you don't, you have to force yourself to like it. So afterwards, I'm like,
Yeah.
what do I want to do?
Hmm,
So it took a couple years of just figuring out like who I was and what I wanted and everything. And yeah,
yeah.
it's been fun because like I've experimented, like I've tried yoga because that wasn't allowed, and I got a
Ooh,
tattoo because that wasn't allowed, and
a
I
tattoo.
tried new
Okay.
stuff. Yeah.
I feel
So
you on that.
what's that?
I feel you on
Yeah,
exploring and doing things that you couldn't do before.
yeah. But also it's hard. I mean, I am alone. I have friends and people I trust, but my group is very small, and
Hmm,
I'm working really hard trying to make a career and take care of my kids and be a good
yeah.
mom and make myself happy. And yeah, it's good and it's hard, but it's
Yeah.
okay.
That's good as long as you keep busy. And you said you do swing classes. That's
Yeah, country
awesome.
swing, it's really fun.
Country swing. Yeah,
Yeah.
I can't do that.
You could. They give you lessons.
I can't, man. I was a break dancer. I was in a breakdance crew
Well,
in
hip
the
hop is
religion.
actually my favorite. I've
Is
taken
it?
hip hop classes too. Yeah. I love to
Okay.
dance. Like I probably love every kind of dance.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
That's you gotta get into the salsa, the bachata, the merengue.
Yeah,
That's where I'm from.
that's fun.
Yep, yep. I myself am slacking. My wife always tells me like, "Come dance with me," and my body is not the same as it used to be. Like as I was saying, like I was in a breakdance crew back in the day. You'll probably find me on YouTube too. I have some
Really? That's awesome.
yeah.
I
I
have
don't know.
to look
Maybe if I'll probably find something and I'll put it on here or
it up.
something.
Okay.
But and maybe for 5 seconds because I'm embarrassed of how I was super skinny. I was like the
You were a
skinniest kid.
kid, right?
Yeah, and
That's
the
how it
thing
goes.
is, back then I had to let it all go. Because of the organization, I had
Yeah.
to let it all go. And it's funny because the leader of the breakdance crew was actually married to a witness. And I didn't know at the time. So it was it was easy for me to like leave because I had to explain to them, why I'm leaving. I mean, we're a crew. Like we would go to competitions, we would win, we would like get money. Like it was awesome.
That
So I
is
had to explain like why I'm leaving. So it
yeah.
was easy to explain to him because he understood because his wife was a witness.
Mhm.
So the moral of this explanation is that since then it's been a while, and I get down and I won't get back up. I'm just my body is too beaten up. I can't do it no more.
It's probably exactly what you need.
Who
So good
knows?
for you.
Right, right. Who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe we'll see. Um, and I mean, I did decide to do. Um, well, I'm trying to get to get a small. I want to. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I wanted to get a studio, and I wanted to do because I do photography on the side. So that's something I want to stay busy on.
Nice.
Um, I have my camera equipment there. I did shoot weddings. Um, I stopped doing that and because I started doing this
Mhm,
YouTube stuff. This
mhm.
YouTube stuff is hard, man. It's a business in itself.
You're good at it, though. You're really
I
good at it.
I try like it's difficult. Well, hold on a second. Someone's what is this? You making fun of me? Oh man.
Yep, you're gonna have to show video now.
Oh man, do I have anything? I mean, let's see here. Um, it's gonna take me a while to find
And that's
anything,
that's okay.
but I can keep looking as we talk. But
Okay.
um, I
I
remember what's up.
Oh, I was gonna say I did wanna mention that, I have my story on YouTube like you showed, but I
Yeah.
don't really post there much anymore. I have my podcast that I'll put up now. So if people are wondering, like, why I don't really have much content, I'm mostly on TikTok.
Oh, okay.
So
That's a good thing. I am on TikTok as well. I was actually gonna show you, and showcase your stuff because you said you're you have a business now. You're doing a show with Ashley,
mhm.
and that's actually someone who was supposed to be with us. You
Yeah.
guys. Oh, look who's here. What is up, my man?
Wally!
That's okay. Don't worry about it. I appreciate you stopping by though.
Aw,
Um,
that's cool.
yeah, he stops in once in a while. Give me some support. Appreciate it. Um, so Ashley's a little under the weather, you guys, so she
Yeah.
couldn't join. Um, but I'll show the. Let me see if I can. Does Spotify have? Can you show? Let's see here. You guys are Grow with the Flow, correct?
Just grow with the flow.
Just Grow. So if you guys check them out, they're also on Spotify. Just Grow. You want to explain a little bit what that is?
Yeah, it's just kind of Ashley wasn't an ex Jehovah's Witness, or she isn't an ex Jehovah's Witness, but she kind of grew up in a Christian household and has her own experiences that have molded her. And it's kind of just about, we're both single women, just working really hard in our careers, and we just talk about life, and it's kind of really to just empower people, and things that we've learned from our own experiences. We talk about everything from dating to childhood trauma.
Mhm,
We don't have that many videos out yet. We're just getting started, but we have a whole list of stuff that we're going to talk about, manifestation and self worth and self love and healing and, all those things. So that it's just about growth, just growing and how we've learned to grow and,
mhm.
the lessons and all of that.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. And that's actually why I invited you on here, really. I wanted to showcase that when you leave the organization, there's support out there, and you guys are definitely showing support in this sense. Because obviously you leave and you feel like you're done because you believe that you were in the truth. Like you
Hmm.
believe that that's all you know. Like your entire community is gone, all your friends, all your family, your faith is gone.
Hmm.
I don't know what your spiritual journey is now.
Hmm.
Um, I've I more or less stuck with the whole Jesus thing, and that's what I believe in.
Hmm.
I know a lot of YouTubers that I follow. They're more on the atheist side, some are agnostic, and that's okay. Like everyone believes in what they want to believe in, and I don't judge nobody. I don't
Right.
criticize.
Right.
And um, here it is. I found it.
Yay.
Oh, not the breakdance, the actual.
Oh.
um, Let me just for some reason I can't find it on Spotify, but let me just show them this so they can at least look it up.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. And here we go. So, I remember that I did actually find the breakdance video. Okay, so this is them. This is this person right here on the left. Oh, what's this? Oh, something popped up. So this person on the left is Ashley,
Mhm.
and this is, if you guys guessed it, who that is. That is Malia, and this is their basically their like slogan: "Just grow with the flow."
Yeah,
Um, it's overcoming. It says right here, overcome religious trauma. It's advice and overcome religious
yeah.
trauma and just how to. I was watching this video actually a little bit today. Oh, you can see how much I've watched. That's cool. So it's really cool what you're doing, and I commend you for what you're doing. I commend you for what you're doing with 3 kids.
Thank you.
And it's not hard. I have 3 kids myself, and sometimes I want to bury myself. I have 2 boys, both same age, and a baby, and that
Yeah,
is the baby's like 5 kids in one.
right. It's very physical when they're little, for sure.
Yeah, it is. Um, I wanted to ask you, um, is there? Sorry, I get gassy with some of your lives.
You're fine.
Is is there any advice that you would give? It's a three-parter. Is there any? I'll start with the first one. Is there any advice that you would give someone who is PMO
Mhm.
and still going to the congregation and are starting to have doubts? Is there any type of advice that you can give?
So if they're PMO, but they're starting to have doubts, so they're not fully mentally out yet.
Right. Well,
Okay.
they're meant. They're. I guess you can say, yeah, they're PMO. They're just because they're starting to open up to the reality that this religion is a fraud. Is all made up. So, is
Right.
there any advice you can give for
Yeah.
them?
So I was thinking, for people that are physically and fully mentally out, they, I think the best thing they can do is have boundaries,
Mm,
knowing like where their self-respect is and what they will allow and won't allow because they really manipulate and push you into doing things you don't feel comfortable doing.
mm,
But for those having doubts, I would say just do your research. Honestly, like dig into, I mean, I read the studies in the scriptures,
mm-hmm.
because they don't have them on the website. They don't have them anywhere. You have to like order them online, like through Amazon or go to a library and find them, like because they are not going to give them to you. And I know why. It's like, oh
Yeah,
my gosh, it is unreal what is in those books.
yeah,
The original books from C.T. Russell. So, if you start having doubts, just look stuff up. It doesn't have to be apostate.
right.
And it be their own material. And this is what I tried to tell my dad, and he would not hear me. I'm like, read your own books. Read your own books.
That's like the biggest thing. I mean, the most powerful thing is to feed them their own medicine
Yeah.
because of that so apostate crap they're so afraid of.
Yes.
But if you find their own material, like in the Oslo District Court in Norway, that's what they did. They literally used their own material to go against them,
Yeah.
and it works. It's very, very effective.
Of course, because you can't argue that they wrote it. And the finished mystery is the seventh book of the studies in the scriptures.
Hmm.
And Rutherford finished it because C.T. Russell started all the first books. And Rutherford wrote in there that basically he became possessed, that like the spirit came into his body and helped him write according to what
Yeah,
Charles Taze Russell wanted to write. So I'm like, this is not stuff they teach. And then they say they're not inspired of God. It just makes no sense. It's like,
they're not inspired, and now they're telling people that the governing body has decided, and they're literally saying the governing body has decided, and they make all these changes, and everybody's like, "Oh my God, Jehovah!" Like, praise the Lord! Like, come
it's
on.
so loving.
And they're so manipulative because in the beginning they started with the whole Jehovah is merciful, and they start with that bit, and then they throw in the new changes. Even though they're saying, this is how I interpreted it, even though they're saying the governing body has decided, if you're already 14 minutes into the video,
Mhm.
you're already with the mindset that Jehovah is merciful because they kept repeating it. So it doesn't matter anymore that they say the governing body has decided, because in the end, it's Jehovah.
Yeah, they've already drilled that into your head.
They could have
Mhm.
just started with the changes, but no, they're smart. They're smart
Yeah,
people.
for sure.
Yeah.
Bad.
So it's funny because this goes more or less with what I want to showcase. It's a video that I made. I'm not sure when I'm going to release it. It is like 90% done, but I want to tweak it some more. But I'm
Okay.
going to show you guys. I want your opinion on it, Malia.
Okay.
I'm not going to show the whole thing. I think it's like 8 minutes long, but I'm not going
Okay.
to show the whole thing.
Okay.
Just it's, don't laugh. Okay, you can laugh because it's supposed to be funny, but we'll see. I've been showing my wife this like on, and she laughs. Pretty sure she's annoyed by now.
I love your videos. The one where you like put SpongeBob in it. I was like,
Oh yeah.
that literally fits so perfectly. Like, how do you find stuff like that? It's so good.
Yeah, it's I spend a lot of time on just I'm I'm like, sometimes I go to bed at 4 in the morning just making these videos most of the time.
It's a talent and an art, and I'm not very good at it. And I couldn't figure out any of the audio stuff. That's why I don't really do YouTube anymore, and I do TikTok.
Yeah,
Because I'm terrible at that stuff. So I'm like so impressed.
right.
Great.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is like we're talking about how to like overcome religious trauma, how to be successful in life after leaving the organization,
Mhm.
how to find doctrines and stuff like that, how to support yourself mentally, physically, spiritually. And this video basically ties in with that. And we were talking about breakdancing too. So this is a 1980s version of my video.
Okay.
So I hope you guys like it. I won't play all of it. Video file. Let's go to desktop. Doctrine 1980. Are you guys ready?
Yes.
All right, give me a second. Hey, you. I'm going to show you what it takes to take apart a doctrine. What is a doctrine, you might say? Pull out your phone, or if you're on a PC, then the keyboard of your choice, and search for the doctrine, because I don't feel like searching that for you. Odds are you're a good old Jehovah's Witness, or someone who has left the faith and are now trying to figure out where to begin to prove these guys wrong. Or maybe you've never been a part of this cult and you need to arm yourself. We're going to go through 4 steps today, which I've come up with to help you encompass critical thinking, awareness, self-confidence, self-control, and more. It's a 4-step system I like to call the LET system. Learn about a doctrine, extract the lies, train your brain to adapt to your newly profound understanding, and tell someone about it. Let's face it, you see something, you say something. Something these guys don't know how to do.
The instructions were you keep these pedophiles secret.
Here we go. Learning about a doctrine can be the saddest part of this entire 4-step system because you have to sit and listen to all of it. But luckily for you, I have pre-selected various doctrines for you to choose from. Go ahead, choose one. Is this your pick? Good. There are various ways one learns about a doctrine. The most common way to come across one is on this thing called the Watchtower magazine, which is loaded with crap. So much so that Jehovah's Witnesses praise them. Don't believe me? The next time you're feeling like straight doo-doo, let an elder or two know, and they're gonna love bomb you with JW articles like it's the plague. So back to what I was saying. Another way you can learn about a doctrine is by heading over to their website. And you don't even have to search for one because their front page is loaded with this stuff. It just smacks you in the face. What I do to learn about a doctrine is I use their online Watchtower library, which is pretty much the same as their search bar feature, but with a more refined search. You can find this on their website on the bottom of the page. This is an all-in-one, buy one, get unlimited for free deal. Not only can you define what birthdays are, but you can find out where it's used and how many times it's used. It's like a secret database and you work for the CIA. Super beneficial. You know, it's good to know what they know, regardless of your spiritual journey or religious status. It's always a good thing when you enter the belly of the beast and infiltrate from within. Using their own medicine against them is bittersweet. And besides, you gotta know what they know in order to hit them where it hurts and wake them out of their trance. Otherwise, you sound like this to them.
What's the matter?
I've been getting death threats.
You mean death threats?
Not this time.
You can't expect to go to court and tell the jury this man is guilty without knowing the facts first, right? Now, once you've studied the doctrine, write down the scriptures they use to support it and read them. Oh, and when you read them, please, for the love of God, read in context, because 99.92.5% of the time, the scripture they think is best rarely ever supports their argument. Once you read it, it's time to eat it. Extract the lies. Usually reading the context of a scripture alone will debunk a doctrine, and you can call it a day. But if it doesn't, then you can use outside sources like Google or Wikipedia to help your case. It's always good to study what's mainstream.
I got beans, greens, potatoes, tomatoes, lamb, ram, pork, beans, greens, potatoes, tomatoes, chicken, turkeys, rat, you name it.
But most of the time when you do that and bring this teaching to a witness, they will reject the information almost instantly because they are trained. Anyway.
You can watch this all day.
Yeah,
It's so good.
I could play the whole thing, but I haven't uploaded it yet, so
I love it.
I'm not sure what's copyrighted yet, so I don't want to get
So
taken down.
entertaining, so educational, perfect, and so funny.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah, green screen is very, very beneficial. This thing, my wife got it for me for my birthday. I've been abusing it. There's even stains on it, bro. Thank you, I appreciate it. So let me see if I can. So you guys want to see me breakdancing?
Yeah.
All right. Damn, I just had it. Where did it go? Oh, here it is. Oh my goodness. This is really old, bro. Oh man. Oh, it's been so long.
I
Okay.
can't wait to see it.
All right, I'm gonna show you guys. Hold on. Present, share. Here we go. So our crew was called Ace Legion, and this was us right here. Look at this. Look at the date here. 14 years ago.
Okay.
And so, so this, I'm gonna put it down a little bit. So this guy right now, this is actually a battle between the same crew. There wasn't that many people to compete against, so we broke apart our crew into twos.
Mhm.
So we're facing our own people. But-
Oh, okay.
So it's funny. I am dressed in black. I have
Okay.
a white hat, white shoes. I think it's a white belt. You'll see. I'm coming up. This is 18 seconds. I think I come out at 23 seconds or something. We'll see. Let's see. Oh man. Oh, this is a different one.
I love it. So worldly.
Yeah, right?
You're good.
Yeah, I messed up here. Oh my god.
You recovered.
Yeah, that was actually when I
That's
first
good.
that was actually my very second battle. I have gotten way better than that. But yeah, that was funny, man. That was back in the day. I loved it, man. That's what sucks about this organization, bro. There's so much potential that are lost.
Mm-hmm.
Like I even went to college and I had to drop out because they're telling me, oh, you need to get married to this person you're engaged to, because that was the law in the organization. You can only date for a certain amount of time, be engaged for a certain amount of time, and then you have to marry that person.
Yep.
Because Satan, temptation, sex. So it's annoying. And I had to drop out because I needed money. So I needed to get a job. So I dropped out of college. got myself a job at McDonald's, and got married, sadly. So it's
Yep.
crazy.
Do we have time for a funny story?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Do it.
Okay. So, me being the blonde airhead that I always have been,
No.
yeah, you don't know. I got married at 21 to my first husband, and we were married for 4.5 years. And I filed for divorce. He wasn't a Jehovah's Witness. And I thought that you didn't have to go to court unless you like had kids or you were arguing, and we'd already split everything up. We didn't have any kids. So I was like, I got this letter in the mail saying that the divorce was defaulted. And I thought that meant we were divorced by default. So I called him up and I was like, it went through. I'm celebrating. He went and celebrated. I went to Alaska and got remarried to my kid's dad. He went to California and got remarried. Neither of our marriages were real. They were void. So I'm married to my kid's dad for, what was it, like 10 years, 10 years. And we're refinancing our house. And they tell me, we need your divorce decree because a couple of different names came up for you. So we just need that. You know, it's the way technology is now or whatever. So I was like, oh, I don't have it. And they were like, well, you can go get it. It's public record. So I call my dad in Oregon and I'm like, hey, Dad, can you go pick up the divorce decree? He's like, sure, no problem. He calls me later that day and he's like, well, yeah, bad news. I was like, what? And he was like, you were never divorced. And I was like,
oh, man.
What? Guess what the elders made us do? Sleep in separate bedrooms. And get remarried when I was like, our marriage was on the rocks at this time. I had been going to the elders constantly about our marriage. And I was like, I want to separate. I want to separate. And they were like, Jehovah doesn't do loopholes, honey. You have to remarry him.
What?
And I remarried. Yeah, we remarried because of the elders. And we both were like not happy.
That's insane. Oh my gosh. What?
Yeah, it's crazy. So I had it for 6 weeks until our appointment with the courthouse.
Mm-hmm.
I had to sleep with my niece in her room.
Yeah.
And he got the bed.
Wow.
Crazy.
Bro. That is pretty.
We got kids. Like, what?
Right. Like, well, it doesn't matter anymore. Like, who the hell?
And I was like, I've been living in sin for 10 years.
Yeah, they're gonna throw that down your throat. Like, you are a very sinful person. How dare you?
You know.
But wow, that's pretty crazy. That is pretty insane.
You know. I had to go to court and prove that I wasn't committing fraud because I was married to 2 people. Yeah. Bigamy, I guess, is bigamy or something. I
don't know the term, but I have bigamy, right? I've heard that before.
Yeah, apparently I'm a criminal.
You're the worst of the worst.
Like Mormons can have multiple wives. Why can't I have multiple husbands?
I didn't even know that. You just like blew my brain. Like I did not know that. Like I know they're like Mormons are kind of similar, but like other than the Book of Mormon and the fact that they think that the father of Jesus was a physical person. I think.
I don't know. I'm not sure about all that. My best friend in high school was Mormon, and she recently has left her religion too. But it's funny because we just like clicked like that, and now it's like we're cult girls. Like we just got each other.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. That's a lot. That's a lot. Like
although they don't allow that now. Like it's the Mormons that kind of like go off and kind of branch off and have their own like religion that's still Mormonism, but it's different.
It's Latter-day Saints now.
Yeah.
So that's what they want to call themselves.
Right.
The LDS.
But I have a lot of Mormons that follow me on TikTok that are just like, wow, it's so much the same.
Mm-hmm. So. Yeah. Yeah. Like when I didn't know that Mormons even knocked on people's doors when I was a witness.
Yeah.
Like that's new. I didn't know that. I only knew that because I ended up finding out because I was disfellowshipped in a parking lot eating a McDouble from McDonald's and just staring at these guys, and they had beards, so that's how I knew that they weren't witnesses. So I'm like,
wouldn't know now.
Yep, these nice blue suits knocking on people's doors with books in their hand.
Yeah, and backpacks. I remember Mormons always wore backpacks on their bikes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Man,
that's how I differentiate.
That's how you know as well that the organization also they just lie all the time. First it was we're the only truth, and then it's we're the only ones that preach door to door.
Yeah,
Look at the Mormons, man.
I know, right?
And the Mormons believe they're the truth.
Hmm.
When I was leaving the organ, did you ever find yourself wanting to go to a church or any
Yeah,
other
I did.
like?
I did go to a church for a while.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I wanted to visit some Protestant church because they were the only ones that like I felt better about myself.
Hmm.
Like I did think about being visiting the Catholic Church at one point, but then I felt a little closer to home with Protestants. I didn't want to do Mormons because I was scared of the Book of Mormon.
Right.
That was literally the only thing. Because Mormons felt like Jehovah's Witnesses, bro. Like they're just so
Yeah.
like but no, now I just stick to YouTube and you guys
Mhm.
are my church. You guys are my religion.
Right. Yeah, it was triggering for me. I went to one that they were like, it's like a concert and it's non-denominational, and then you can, kind of believe what you want. It's just Bible based, and
Yeah.
that just them quoting scriptures, I was like, I can't do this. It sounds
Yeah.
like an assembly, it looks like an assembly. The music was cool though. I did like the music, but
Yeah.
it was too much for me. I just couldn't do it.
Yeah. I mean that's okay. That's
But I tried. Yeah.
and we're so used to like the music that we use. I always thought the music that other churches use was very demonic.
Of course.
And now I listen to it, it's like it's not that's the same crap. It's not that bad.
Right.
And I don't know if you knew this, but the Witnesses use copyrighted music, right?
I actually just found that out like a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. They would steal songs from other artists
Yeah, I just saw that on YouTube.
and then
Like,
they don't
what?
credit. Yeah, and
They make it sound like it's all Jehovah's people that are so talented and over at Bethel. Have you been to Bethel?
yeah, I
Oh
have.
my gosh. This is another moment where I was like, oh my God, I'm a bad person. Because when I went there, I was like, are you serious? Like, this is the dream? This is
Yeah.
where everyone wants to come? Like, this
Mhm.
factory, dungeon, laundry room stuff? Like, I was not impressed.
Right.
I was
I
like, no, this is not for me.
Yeah, there's a lot of crazy stuff that happens in Bethel. Like if you've ever watched XJW Critical Thinker,
Mhm.
their channel,
Yeah.
he talks about being in Bethel. He talks about how they would bid for rooms because they had to rotate, but they also had to bid for their rooms and they would fight. Like brothers would literally like fight with each other to get these rooms
Wow.
and bicker, argue. It was like, where's the Holy Spirit?
Yeah.
And that when I heard that, I was like, wow. There's another thing I heard about Bethel, but it's nothing bad. It was about Raymond Franz.
Hmm.
He had mentioned that no, it wasn't him. It was somebody else had mentioned that the dishes were so overloaded, the sink, that Raymond Franz stopped what he was doing, stopped his assignment to go to the kitchen and wash dishes.
Wow.
And finished them, and he said that was the most shocking thing he saw a governing body member do, the only governing body member to do that. And and he's the one that ended up
Yep,
leaving.
the humble one. For sure.
So and I don't know if you read Crisis of Conscience or
Mhm.
just watched his interview.
Yeah, that was a big wake up call.
Yeah, he talks about how the organization, they used to fight when coming up with policies, when thinking of what to throw at people next, and they would like argue and try to figure out what's best and what's not. It's like he's like, where's the Holy Spirit here? Like,
Yeah. And he was so sweet in his book. Like, I love that he put all of the letters in there. Like, you could see the way they treated him, and he was the kind one. Like, I was like, wow.
yeah.
Could not believe the way they treated him.
Wow. So we've been here for an hour. That's some good
Went by
time.
fast.
That did go by fast. I wanted to do at least an hour. I didn't want
Yeah.
to do 30 or 40 minutes. I mean, I guess I can end tonight with all of this. I did mention, let's see, what did I mentioned your channel.
Mhm.
I talked about your podcast. I talked about you. I talked about your achievements. You are a business owner. You are a mother of 3. You're keeping busy. You do swing. That's awesome. And are you? Oh yeah. So what's gonna be? Are you gonna do a next upload another video soon, or on your regular YouTube channel?
I don't know. I actually, what's coming next for me, which, like I said, TikTok has just been easier with my schedule, and I am on call. I work 2 jobs right now, so I'm on call,
Okay.
so it's very hard for me to plan things. TikTok, I can just do short little clips, and it's just easier. But what I don't
Yeah.
know if you've seen my most recent, but I made a video saying basically goodbye to my mom and kind of like letting go, and I think I needed that a lot to move forward. My dad's is going to be a lot harder, but it's also going to be a lot longer. So
Okay.
that's what I'm kind of figuring out what I want to say to do that next, but that's a big one for me. Yeah.
Okay. So everyone, make sure to check out Maliah Thompson. She is on TikTok. She is on YouTube. She is on Spotify. Great person. Very funny. And wow, there is so many videos. Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot on the TikTok.
So make sure to check her out. And I just want to say thank you all for joining this live. Thank you, Maliah, for joining this live. Thank you
Thank
for taking the
you.
time. I know I apologize to you guys that 9 o'clock Eastern time isn't the norm, but that's okay. Actually, I had a lot more people today than I have had in
Oh,
previous
really? Well,
lives.
out.
Yeah, so it's pretty crazy.
Good.
But thank you guys. Oh yeah, real quick. Is there anybody here that had a question or anything before I head out? I don't see any questions. Oh, what's the channel's name for YouTube? It's Overcoming. I'm gonna put it Overcoming Religious Trauma. That is Maliah's YouTube channel name. All right, so I spelled your name wrong. Did I? No, I don't think I did. Anyway, so hello, Witness Underground. Well, this is the end of tonight. Thank you guys all for joining in. This is MJ in Context. Remember, take care, stay safe, and remember, you can't make this up. Thank you all for joining. Bye, Maliah.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye bye. You're welcome.
Bye.